Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, January 24th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. The day has come. The new light department has officially moved into their new home on Access Road this past Tuesday and are already taking advantage of its benefits. Jimmy Collins gives us an update on the excitement behind the department's move-in day.
Well, today's move-in day, first day actually open at the new location. We're thrilled to be here. We're still unpacking, we're still moving some of the equipment, but we're set up. The last storm this past weekend, the trucks were actually indoors, so that was helpful. We're glad to see that. And it's a new day. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Well, the workflow is much simpler. All the people together. The cable department's laid out better. The contractors for the cable coming over the window. It's set up so much better. A lot of thought went into the layout.
Monday night, the Norwood Masonic Lodge hosted the 50th annual 10 Outstanding Norwood Youth Awards, also known as the Tony Awards. The Tonys recognize Norwood residents in grades 10 through 12 who are making significant contributions of time, effort, and talent to volunteerism, church, or other charitable causes. The program seeks to honor these individuals and offer them as positive role models to younger students. This year's award winners were Sean Chisholm, Thomas Fame, Adeline Janaid, Matthew Malley, Tara O'Brien, Jaden Ryan, Alrina Shara, Marissa Silk, Rasija Valavan, and Priscilla Sang. Honoree Sean Chisholm explains what the award means to him.
I'm very honored to have won it. I think it's a great way to award people who are working hard in our community. It's a very rare opportunity as well, so I'm very honored that the Norwood Masons were able to give me this award.
Stay tuned for more town news and for this week's Living Local.
If you want to meet the people who make the town tick, watch Your Town at Work, hosted by Jerry Slater. On the latest episode, Jerry heads up to Norwood High School and interviews Kristen McDonald and Lisa Colosimo. Kristen is the Director of Guidance and walks us through the daily routine of her department. She is also in her first year as the head coach for the boys basketball team, and you'll learn the difference of coaching boys and girls. Also on the show, you'll meet Lisa Colosimo, who is secretary to the principal. She is the first face you'll see when you enter the high school, and as a graduate of NHS, she is proud to be back. Tune in to the latest episode of Your Town at Work, hosted by Jerry Slater. Only on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
Welcome back. The Friends of Norwood Center is a volunteer nonprofit organization made up of local merchants and town officials. The group was established in 2011 and works to develop, build, and strengthen the downtown experience for the entire community. Recently, Charlotte Walsh, owner of Charles River Running, was named president of the Friends of Norwood Center.
Yeah, that's really exciting. It's been great to be a merchant here for the last 8 years, and I've been active with the Friends of Norwood Center, but it's nice to be able to have a leadership role, and that I think that I can bring a lot of voices to the table, having been a merchant here for almost 8 years.
Walsh is excited to build on the success that the group has had over the past 8 years.
What we're going to accomplish in 2020 is we're going to build on some of our successes that we've already achieved. And that is the Farmers Market on Tuesdays in the summer, Small Business Saturday, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which is when people come out and support local in their downtowns. And we also would like to work on our digital presence. We would like to work on our webpage and our social media platforms. And what we want to be is a conduit of information for people to see what's happening in the downtown. So we're going to work with other merchants and the town and the recreation department and other organizations to really have one calendar of events so people can find out what's going on in the center on any given day.
With Valentine's Day right around the corner, you will want to get those flower orders in soon. Flower Power in Norwood has you covered with all sorts of floral arrangements for any occasion. Megan Corbett profiles Flower Power on this week's Living Local.
Located at 111 Lenox Street, Flower Power opened their doors in Norwood 2 years ago.
I am Maria Correa. I am co-owner of Flower Power. My business partner is Yehuda Ben David.
Flower Power thrives on satisfying their customers and providing top-level service.
Customer service is our top priority. We always carry fresh, high-quality flowers. The flowers come directly from Colombia, Ecuador. So they'll have always fresh product.
Flower Power has the right flowers for you for any occasion.
So we do flowers for different kind of events. We do flowers for weddings, funerals, birthdays, different kind of parties. We are involved like in a different like local events. We volunteer. We try to be active in Norwood community.
Maria is excited to be a part of the Norwood community.
It's been good. The community is very nice. Everybody's friendly. Everybody's kind of local. Like they kind of supporting each other.
The name Flower Power was inspired by the movement in the 60s.
My business partner, wife, Wendy, actually, she comes up with a list of names. It is a family business, so like everybody in our families, they are getting involved. So she came up with a list of names, and actually Yehuda picked up the name Flower Power. This is like dating back in the 60s when Flower Power was like a big hit. So she came up with this name. We like it, and I think it's a good choice because like it's very easy to remember, and everybody's just Flower Power. It's very easy for our customers to remember the name.
Flower Power is open 7 days a week and on holidays, and is always there to serve their customers.
We provide same-day delivery, and we always work on customers' budget. We adjusting our service by each customers, like it's personalized our work.
You can find out more information about Flower Power on Facebook and by visiting their website.
Flower Power, it's always happy to welcome new customers. We like this community, we like our location. We are happy that we choose this location, and everybody's welcome here. We'll be happy to assist you. We always like to make customers happy.
All of that looked amazing. Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your local government.
Hello everybody, I'm Joe Meehan.
And I'm Mark Hoover.
And on this edition of NCM Sports Extra, we had John Longley in studio, as always, giving us an update on how the winter season has gone so far.
I got a chance to sit down with 4 members of our swim team. Got to learn a little bit about, how the meets work and both the individual work that they do, the teamwork that they do, and how successful their season's been so far.
Yeah, and then I caught up with wrestling, who's off to a great start to their season at 12-7, and looking ahead already to the tournament with 8 matches to go. A lot of individual and team success.
And finally, I had the chance to use our Skype and check in with Sinead O'Brien, senior up at Stonehill College, class of 2016 here from the high school. Ran here at the high school, and academically and athletically up at Stonehill College has been just crushing it as part of the 4x100 team.
So tune in on Norwood Community Media for this edition of NCM Sports Extra, your home for all things Norwood.
Welcome back to Norwood News. It was a very busy week of town government with 9 meetings, 4 of which took place on Tuesday night. The Winter Concert Committee was the first appointment of Tuesday night's Board of Selectmen meeting. The committee's appearance was to announce their schedule for the upcoming Winter Concert Series at Norwood High School. The first concert will kick off this weekend, January 26th at 2 p.m. Travis Farley was the second appointment of the night. He gave a detailed recap of the Recreation Department's December events and announced what events the Recreation Department has coming up. including the father-daughter dance on February 7th. The big topic of the night was the discussion on changing the board's title from Board of Selectmen to Select Board. Selectman Plasko spoke on behalf of changing the name to Select Board.
And I was moved by a conversation last month I had with my 12-year-old granddaughter Maggie. And I won't bore you with the whole discussion, but at the end of the discussion, she said said that they should allow women to be selectmen because they could get things done. Well, I explained to her that women can be on the board and that Norwood has had 4. Actually, think about that. We've only had 4, even though we've had 78 selectmen in total. This started to make me think that, you know, what selectmen does mean to young girls and to women, and that it excludes them, and they feel excluded by the use of the term.
Selectman Maloney talked about the historical side of the name Board of Selectmen.
As one who probably errs too much on the side of history and tradition, I would be probably sorry to see the term go, because encoded in the term selectmen is 400-year history of representative government on these shores, going back to the earliest villages. The term is pretty much exclusive to New England, and it was originally select vestrymen, because the original villages and townships were centered around the churches. And then as the world became more secular and it expanded, they shortened the term to selectmen. So I don't see the practical benefit of changing it. I mean, I guess I don't mind putting it out as a plebiscite. I don't, however, see the practical benefit. I don't really agree with Mr. Plasko that people are going to feel like they're excluded by it. Everybody knows a woman can be on the board of selectmen. The English language does have its defects and its peculiarities. That's probably why it's a killer language, and everyone in the world speaks it. It just has appeals to everybody. But I admit, I mean, that's, you know, in the early days, selectmen referred to men. They were men, and now we have the sex and the species are the same term. So.
The motion to move forward to town meeting to change the name of the board was denied and tabled to a further date for more discussion. The Board of Selectmen will meet again next Tuesday, January 28th at 7 p.m. At the Cable Commission, Jack Tolman of Norwood Community Media briefed the Commission on NCM's partnership with Skating Club of Boston and the recent installation of HD broadcast equipment by Comcast. Once fully integrated, Comcast customers will be able to watch NCM content in high definition. The next Cable Commission meeting is set for April 21st. Also Tuesday night, the Library Board of Trustees met and began their meeting with the discussion of the budget. Many items were covered, including software costs, electronic format costs, and others. Following the budget, the board began the discussion on the boycott of Macmillan Publishers, a popular ebook publisher. The board talked about how it would affect the patrons and eventually brought it to a vote.
I make a motion to boycott.
Second.
All in favor? And we have a split board.
Motions fail on a tie vote under Robert's rules.
This does not mean we cannot revisit.
Possibly at every board meeting.
Yes, so make sure that it goes into old business.
I definitely want, we will keep it on old business. Like Ms. Cummings, I am interested to hear what comes out of ALA. And I think that will have a richness of information that could very potentially change the outcome of the vote in the future.
The final meeting of Tuesday night was a quick 6-minute ZBA meeting to discuss the project at 142 Rock Street. In January 2018, ZBA passed a motion for construction to begin on the property. Since then, in March 2018, the property was sold. The applicant is looking for an extension on the variance that is expiring this week. The applicant plans to build a colonial house on the lot. The board unanimously passed an extension until July 21st of this year. Wednesday, the Airport Commission met and began their meeting with a project update from Du Bois & King. Following the update, Airport Manager Russ McGuire presented his manager's report. Then the Commission covered a number of correspondence. The meeting ended with an executive session. The next Airport Commission meeting will be in February. Wednesday night, the school committee met in their usual place at the Savage Center. Joe Kidd, Paul Riccardi, and Al Bishop presented their capital outlay project requests to the committee. These included a Wi-Fi access point refresh, installation of a new outdoor track, and football field with the possibility of lights and new transportation vans. Dr. Wyeth, along with Dr. Frasick, gave an update on the Renaissance program and Freckle program and shared some testimonials on the positive results. The committee also approved the annual 8th grade field trip to Washington, D.C. The committee's next meeting will be February 5th. The Preservation Committee was one of the many meetings Wednesday night. Patty Fanning from the Old Parish Preservation Volunteers kicked off the meeting, giving a presentation on a project proposal to preserve and enhance the Old Parish Cemetery. Assistant Town Planner Pat Duchesne also spoke to the long-term agenda and the committee's desire to be proactive in their scheduling process. The CPC's next meeting will be February 12th. Thursday afternoon, the Historical Commission held their monthly meeting. Topics that were covered were a discussion of the Morse House in South Norwood and what to do with it moving forward. Also, the Commission discussed purchasing signage for the historical sites in town. They want signs that are cost-effective but also still look nice. The next Historical Commission meeting will be in February. Also on Thursday, the Finance Commission met and began their meeting with an update on the trend analysis from Chairwoman Haley. Later in the meeting, the Commission discussed the budget review calendar for the upcoming months. The school department hearing will be scheduled for February 13th, while the town departments will be scheduled for March 2nd. The next meeting for the Finance Commission will be in the upcoming weeks. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your schools.
Do you want to stay up to date with Norwood Community Media? Then subscribe to our weekly NCM newsletter. Every Friday, our promotions department publishes an online newsletter that highlights the work of NCM and the latest happenings. It includes the full episode of Norwood News, recent clips from NCM programs, behind-the-scenes photos, and so much more. NCM works hard to deliver a steady stream of Norwood content, and this newsletter is another way to stay connected to Norwood. To receive the newsletter, just visit www.norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Scroll to the bottom of the page, click the Sign Up for our newsletter button, and enter some basic information. You'll then be added to our newsletter mailing list. It's all here on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
Welcome back. Now we're going to toss it over to our Norwood Schools reporter to recap everything that has happened this week in the Norwood Public School District.
Hi guys, I'm Allie McDonough and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. At Norwood High School, 25 freshmen are enrolled in the Healthcare Innovation Pathway program. This is a program for students interested in exploring the field of healthcare. They will receive a range of career exploration opportunities that include specified coursework, technical training, job shadowing, college coursework, and internships. Students will gain knowledge about the options available in the healthcare field. This week, the students had an all-day field trip to Moderna, located right here in Norwood. Moderna is a biotechnology company that is focused on drug discovery and drug development that will help patients create their own therapies. The students have also attended Harvard Medical School, and we will be reporting on this program throughout the year. This week, some of the classrooms at the Little Mustangs Preschool celebrated Chinese New Year. This year is the Year of the Rat. The children painted rats, made Chinese lanterns, and used watercolor paints to paint dragons. The children learned about some customs of this Chinese holiday, like sweeping out the bad luck before the New Year celebrations begin. They also practiced their fine motor skills using chopsticks and yarn as noodles in their sensory bin. Another classroom turned their dramatic play center into a Chinese restaurant with menus, chopsticks, and special foods to cook. The children also practiced their letter identification by finding letters in lucky Li-C envelopes. These red envelopes are given out during Chinese New Year and are usually filled with money or chocolate. Chants of Gong Hei Fat Choi were heard all around the preschool this week, which means Happy New Year. Extended Day also celebrated Chinese New Year. People born in the Year of the Rat are thought to be diligent and industrious. The rat is the first in the 12-year cycle for the Chinese zodiac signs. Students learn all about Chinese culture, geography, and history. They participated in hands-on learning as they created dragons, lanterns, and masks, reconstructed the Great Wall, tried a variety of Chinese American foods, and mastered Chinese characters. One of the most important lessons was for students to understand that different cultures follow different calendars. The U.S. follows the Gregorian calendar of 12 months from January to December, which is the most widely used and internationally recognized. However, there are calendars of all types used globally, including those that follow the sun, the seasons, and other days of religious significance. Very cool learning opportunities at Extended Day. Members of the Norwood Food Service team came to the Callahan and prepared a delicious meal for students in grade 5, using the herbs grown in the hydroponic tower garden. Students planted the herbs at the beginning of the year and have been tracking the growth. The food service team, along with the students, prepared, cooked, and sampled arugula salad with lemon bulb vinaigrette and lemon dill chicken. Chef Eli Norris was able to demonstrate how to prepare and utilize all the fresh herbs and produce they have been growing this year. Everyone tried and enjoyed what was grown, and a good time was had by all. Norwood Food Service has supplied tower gardens to each of our elementary schools and are looking forward to the next school's harvest. A special thanks to the farmers and Mr. Downs. Norwood Food Service also went to the Coakley Middle School and worked with the students taking a culinary elective class this semester. The 2 classes prepared and cut all the ingredients needed to make bok choy and the flame as a part of Chartwell's Students' Choice program. Then on Wednesday, they assembled ingredients the students prepared and served the 2 sample meals to all of the students at CMS. After the sampling, the students voted for their favorite choice. The dish from Flame beat bok choy and will be featured on the CMS menu starting in February. The food service team hopes all the students enjoy cooking and that they look forward to a new group of students next semester. 3rd graders at the Balch School were thrilled to build their own series circuits. They used batteries and motors to turn light bulbs on and spin a color wheel. They were excited to use the color wheels to combine primary colors to create a secondary color. Thank you to Mrs. Lockwood and the Norwood Science Center. Jarrett Lerner came to visit the Oldham students this week. The students had the pleasure of learning about Jarrett's process in writing and illustrating his sensational children's books. Jarrett is the author of Edgy Nerds, a fun, funny, fast-paced story about friendship, nerdiness, responsibility, and farting robots. The novel was a 2018 Global Read Aloud finalist. Kirkus Reviews called Edgy Nerds a boisterous balance of potty humor and geek pride, and a rollicking young engineer's adventure. Common Sense Media said, readers may be drawn in by rogue robots and plentiful potty humor, but they'll stay for the well-developed story and perceptive portrayal of kids whose passions aren't always understood, even by their closest friends. Looks like this will be a popular book at the Oldham Library. The Cleveland School welcomed Li Lu and her one-person show, Traditions of Chinese Acrobats, last week. The performance included plate spinning, ribbon dancing, and hand balancing. Cleveland students had an opportunity to demonstrate their acrobatic skills. Let's take a look at these amazing pieces of art produced by Prescott School students. Principal Brian Riley said that they are fortunate to have an amazing art teacher in Mrs. Orfanos. Well, that's it for school news. There is something interesting happening in our classrooms and schools every day, and thanks to all the educators who share their news with us. For more information about the Norwood school system, please check the website, Facebook, and watch NCM. Now, let's go to Brian Dunn for the latest sports news.
Hello everybody and welcome into the sports update for this week. My name is Brian Dunn, and for those who watched Sports Extra last night, you may understand that our teams are doing pretty well this season. And this week was no sign of slowing down, so let's keep it moving. Another full slate to report. Let's get right into the scores. In boys hockey, they take on our neighbor across the road in Westwood in another TVL matchup. A close one at Badco results in a 3-2 victory for the Mustangs, and that puts them within striking distance for another MIAA tournament berth. Speaking of tournament berths, let's talk about our girls hoops team. What better way to clinch than getting even over Medfield at home? Their 51-44 win over the Warriors punches their ticket into the tournament as the team improves to 10-1 and continues to roll. Girls hockey took a little trip to Brighton to Warrior Ice Arena, yes, the arena where the Boston Bruins practice and the Boston Pride plays, and took care of business against St. Joe's with a 4-0 win. Boys hoop is in the midst of a lengthy road trip. The conclusion of that chapter took place this week with a matchup against Archbishop Williams, and the Mustangs lose a tough one. They look ahead to their home matchup against Holliston this Friday. Gymnastics once again continues to roll. After a loss in Medfield, they bounce back well and pick up a victory over Medway 135 to 125.7 and improved 3-2 on the season. Swimming and diving had a 2-meet week this week. They lose to Hopkinton 101-79 earlier in the week, but they're right back in the pool this Friday when they take on Westwood. Look for the NCM broadcast next week. The Norwood Dedham Wrestling Rivalry renewed another chapter this week as the Mustangs traveled to Dedham to compete for the Gregory Police Trophy. Norwood won 45-13, officially taking home the trophy on their way back. Well done by everyone. And a few more updates for you. Some of you may remember Pat Forrest's story as his journey from Merrimack track transferring to Virginia Tech over the last year. It didn't take long for Pat to settle in as his relay team broke the Virginia Tech school record for the men's 4x4 relay and clocked the second fastest time in school history in the individual 500. Just awesome stuff from Pat. Congrats to Pat and the Hokies. In youth sports, we have another update from the Nuggets. Pee Wee B Blue Team took a trip to the Cape to battle in the Swagger Cup. Awesome name, by the way. And Norwood went undefeated all the way to the finals and lost a tough one. However, it makes them 20-1 on the season. So nothing to hang their heads about coming home. Great job, everybody. And that's going to do it for sports for me this week. Be on the lookout for NCM's coverage of swimming and diving and gymnastics coming up in the coming weeks. Until then, I'll see you next Friday. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Brian. Also during Tuesday night's selectman meeting, Tony Mizuko announced that Tom McQuaid will be retiring from his position of Director of Finance and Accounting. Tony Mizuko and the members of the board thanked him for his time working for the town of Norwood.
Thomas McQuaid, our Director of Finance, our Chief Financial Officer, has submitted to me a letter that he intends to retire shortly after the end of the fiscal year. He's looking at some time in July or August. He is, of course, being the consummate professional that he is and giving us plenty of time to close out the year, to go through a search process. He will be irreplaceable. I've tried many things to get him to stay. Most of which are above board and some that may not be, because we're certainly going to be sad to lose Tom, but it looks like he'll be retiring shortly after the end of this fiscal year.
Good luck. Everyone here at NCM wishes you a very happy and healthy retirement, Tom. Just a reminder that the Winter Concert Series starts this weekend and will run every Sunday through February 16th. Concerts are from 2 to 4 at the high school auditorium. Also, make sure to tune into NCM's community channel for rebroadcasts of this week's Norwood Digest, Norwood Sports Extra, and Your Town at Work. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.